Good morning, grade 5s and 6s. So for today, we are going to be measuring 10 household items, and you're going to try and find the perimeter for it. So there's a few things you're going to need. One is you're going to need something that can measure. So I used a tape measure in my household. Now the cool thing about my tape measure is it has it in centimeters and meters, which is handy, but your item might not. So I'm just going to do a little close-up here. I'm going to use the floor to help me here. So on the tape measure here, this number here, it says 5 meters. So that means this whole tape measure is 5 meters. But it also has centimeters. So up to this number 10 here in red, those are centimeters. Now the weird thing about my tape measure you're going to notice is it goes back to all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, this would be 10 centimeters, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all the way to 20 centimeters. So that's what the red numbers mean there. So that makes it a little bit different. And your tape measure might be like that too, or it might not. Also, the thing with my tape measure is as soon as I pull the tape measure out, it automatically locks. Most tape measures do not do that. That's why I usually have to pull out how much you need, and then you can lock it with the button going down. But mine actually locks as I pull it out, and then when I press the button, it comes back in automatically. Okay, so the item I have chosen to demonstrate is my elliptical. Very, very big item. But remember, when we're doing the perimeter, we're looking kind of at the 2D shape of what the base is going to look like. So if you take a look at the elliptical, the length is pretty long, and the width is definitely pretty narrow. But as you can kind of notice on the back here, the length will get a little bit longer because I have this bar here to help pull it up. And then it also has in the front 2 wheels to make it a little bit easier to roll. So what I did first was I drew a base or a 2D shape of what the elliptical would look like. So this was the side, these 2 front are the wheels, and there's the back handlebar there. Now, yes, you will already notice that I already did a little bit of measuring as well. So let's make sure we get the same thing. So the first thing I did was measured the long side, so the length, and I had 176 centimeters. So let's see if I get the same thing. Same thing. I'm going to pull out the tape measure here first. You might want to get someone at home to help you with this. Does definitely make it a little bit easier. Okay, so as you notice, I have the tape measure pulled up pretty far already. Now you kind of want to measure in the same spot. So if you kind of look here, there's this little lip here. So I'm using the tape measure to measure it right alongside there, so that when I do it on the other side, it will match it up in there. So I have the tape measure locked up there. Yeah. See, it moves a little bit if you're not too careful, and that's okay. Okay, so tape measure is in the line where I want it. I'm moving it straight, looking on this side. Oh, it's also in the little groove that I want it in. Okay. Make sure that, and this is where having another person is a little bit handy. You can have them kind of hold the bottom. Okay, so taking a look at the measurement here. So taking a look at where the gray part is. So this here, remember this red number is my centimeters number. So I'm at 170 centimeters right now. And now we're going to count it up. So 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, and it ends right at 176. There, so 176 centimeters, which is the number I originally had there. Perfect. Now I can kind of bring in some of my tape measure. Now, to add to the length, I'm going to have to add the wheel part as well. So, because it's part of the length, I'm going to measure it from the base where we ended at that 176 to the end of the wheel here. So, you might want to, depending how your tape measure is set up, you can do it on this side or the other side. I can already kind of tell I said 7 centimeters originally, and that looks pretty accurate. I can kind of go on both sides to just double check to make sure. And yeah, it looks like 7 centimeters, which is what I already had written there as well. So now let's go to the back. Now this part was a little bit tricky because of the handle. So same thing, I went kind of right beside. You'll notice mine kind of has a magnetic. Now, trying to tell what that measurement is a little bit tricky. It kind of looks like 6, it kind of looks like it's a 7, maybe in between. So what I did was I went behind it and I checked the measurement here. Now it's a little bit hard because the camera angle makes it look a little bit weirder, because for you guys it probably looks like 6 right now. But for me, actually looking straight up and down, it's actually 6.5 centimeters, which is what I have written on here. And there, so you'll see that 6.5. So again, watch out when you're measuring. Sometimes it looks a little bit different than what it actually is. And there. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is get our width. And there, so to use the width, I'm using this whole bar here in the front. So same thing, pull out your tape measure. Make sure you're measuring it on the same side. You have this part right at the end, really important. Okay. So the weird thing about this elliptical is the bottom part flares out just to time it. It's hard to see in there. So if you're looking at it, and I'm going to try and show it a little bit, it kind of looks like, so there's the 60 for the centimeters, then 61, 62, 63. Now it looks like it ends at 63, but it flares out a little bit at the bottom. I think you can kind of see it there. So that's where that 64 came from. So I have the 64 in the front and 64 on the back length as well. So front length 64, back length 64. Now, just like anything where we're doing perimeter, we have to add all the sides together. Now this is a little bit tricky because we need to be able to add up all our lengths together, because we have technically 3 different lengths. So we got the 6.5 centimeters from here, 176 from here, and then also the 7. So our actual total length is going to be the 6.5 plus 176 plus the 7, which actually gets us a total of 189.5. So our actual total length is 189.5, and our total width is 64 centimeters. So on the sheet you're going to write down the 10 objects that you want. So I wrote down the elliptical at first. Remember, when you're finding your length and width, there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but at the end of the day, you are adding up all your sides. So because we have 2 lengths, you would go 189.5 plus 189.5 plus 64 plus 64, and there, which is basically what I did, but I did it times 2 instead. So I have our 189.5 plus 64. That's the one time to get the length and width. But because we have to repeat it, I times that answer by 2. So here's 189.5 plus 64, which is 253.5 times 2, which gets us the grand total of 507 centimeters. Now again, because this is a big item, you don't want to leave the perimeter in centimeters because that doesn't really make sense. You want to convert this into meters. So remember, there is 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So to do this, we would take our answer, divide it by 100, which means this decimal that is always here, move over twice, boom. So actually the perimeter of our elliptical is 5.07 meters. All right, so now it is your time to go do this with 10 items in your household. I would like you to do this with 5 larger items and 5 smaller items. Again, it doesn't have to be something as big as my elliptical, but you might want to try something like maybe a couch. This here is Oakley's bed, so you could do something like a bed. You could even do, here's a birthday card you could do. You could do a phone if you wanted. I have a pillow over there. You might want to do the table. So you can pick items that are a little bit easier. Even there's a little mini fridge in there. You could do a recycling bin even. So there's lots of different things that you could do. Even if you had your floor, you could do a floorboard. So I could take this one whole plank and do one whole floorboard if I want to. Or if you have tiles, maybe you want to do one whole tile. So try this out. Have lots of fun. and have a great day. Bye.